the South African business community, well represented and optimistic at the 15th BRICS Summit, which is kicking off today in the Sandton Convention Center. The Chamber of Commerce and Industry forms part of the organizations that will be attending a business forum engagement, and that's where we find our business anchor, Tumisang Ndlovu, who is standing by for us. Tumisang, good morning to you. So, talk to us about what the Chamber of Commerce and Industry is hoping to get out of such forums. This is one important platform, and might I add, an international one.
Good morning, Kholi. You are correct. The business community well represented at the 15th BRICS Summit. But as you were alluding to the gains that are expected, trade and investment is at the core of this particular gathering. I'm joined by the President of the South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mtho Xulu, just to talk about what benefits do lie here and what ground has already been gained. Mtho, thank you so much for your time. You are part of the council engagements leading up to today's event. What has been discussed? What is cast in stone? And do you have good news too?
Good morning. Yes, certainly. Look, we've been part of the BRICS Business Council as the South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Fortunately, I chair the working group on trade and investment. And what I can say is that for the first time this year, the BRICS Business Council has adopted the establishment of a focused trade and investment working group to assist in getting the tangible outcomes out of the BRICS Business Council. Obviously, over the past 10 years of the BRICS Business Council, there has been growth in trade amongst the nations. However, South Africa has almost received a very small part of it. We maintain a trade deficit across the board, and we are still selling a lot of raw minerals. So it's an opportunity for us now to say, in a focused attempt through the working group, how do we now start designing transactions that can be seen to be benefiting entrepreneurs in South Africa and the African continent.
Now, let's also talk about how this then translates into the ordinary South African. The country wants to see tangible results of a summit of this nature, so as it is not identified or dubbed as a talk shop.
Yes, certainly we need to be careful not to be rendered irrelevant. I mean, these summits are a big opportunity for us to actually get closer to our partners like we already are, but it's an opportunity for us to negotiate better. And I think where we are now, the trade deficit that I was talking about provides an opportunity, because our view is that in the short term, if indeed our stronghold is exporting of minerals and agri and mineral commodities, how do we use that advantage to create local industry? It's not good enough just to ship out the raw materials, but how do we then say, that's our advantage, how do we create the value chains in South Africa? Because for the short to medium term, we are going to remain a commodity-driven economy, especially with the demand of the BRICS economy. But how does it translate into new mines? How does it translate into secondary and tertiary opportunities? And I think the BRICS Business Council and our working group will have to be measured in terms of the transactions that it's able to facilitate.
Lastly, eradicating the impediments to trade and investment, particularly at a South African level. Transnet, Eskom, how far are discussions around that?
So we've grouped the work of the Trade and Investment Working Group into 4 areas, one of them being infrastructure development. Because ultimately, for us to really gain a commanding role in BRICS, we need to be competitive as a productive economy. And that you can't do without reliable energy, you can't do that without reliable logistics, and also digital connectivity. So we are saying that all the working groups that are part of the BRICS Business Council need to streamline and consolidate their recommendation to BRICS Business Council, and what we need to do ultimately is to provide and make South Africa a competitive economy that we can be able to then explore more opportunities within the BRICS community. So ultimately it comes back to having a credible economy domestically for it to have a fighting chance within the BRICS community.
Trade and investment at the core of deliberations at the 15th BRICS Summit, as you heard there from the SACCI President, indicating that some gains have already been made, but there is quite a long road to travel, especially in eradicating the impediments and the slowdown of the pace in terms of growth in this regard due to the likes of load shedding and logistical challenges.
Yeah, Tumisang Ndlovu, thank you very much for that update. Sounds as though the business community is hoping to sign a lot of deals. Let's cross fingers for them, because more deals could possibly translate to more jobs for you and I.